would. Yes, it would.
It wouldn't.
Do you think people would come to
It's
the
the
school?
responsibility of the school to make sure that girls don't have.
It's also a responsibility of the school to look out for the well-being of the children in the community, in the school, and in life in general.
This was a high school, right?
Yes. Well, they can't follow. The school officials can't follow them around, make sure they don't get pregnant.
It's also the responsibility of the
That's not
school
their
that the well-being of the pregnant girls be taken into consideration.
Exactly.
You're not. I don't think the here.
Was there any need to make it a public?
To exploit it.
They were the ones
make
who
it
Exploit it through a community. What about the families? Maybe they're not actually.
I shall continue. So the second page, dealing with the issue of divorce, include the names of many family members, including the parents of the described, and how they had negative effect upon the child during the divorce. The principal, Reynolds, was concerned with the publishing of one section in particular, which included students' derogatory remarks toward her parents. One such was he, referring to her father, was always out of town on business, or out late playing cards with the guys. And he was always arguing about everything.
Wouldn't you think that it would be better for a girl to express her feelings than have them all inside of her and then explode at one time? Maybe she might like commit suicide or something because she's all bottled up with these feelings and she doesn't know what to tell them to.
She should discuss them with her parents.
You should be. Well, she can have a public.
Not publicly announce it, in which her parents had no decision over what she said or no influence
It
over.
doesn't seem like the parents have any really care for the girl because seems like they're neglecting her. And also, you should consider the rights of the girl, of this girl whose parents are divorced. She has all this anger, and she is being neglected, obviously, by her father, and she feels that she needs to say it. You can't just shut up the girl. You can't just, put your hand over her mouth and say you can't.
We're not trying to shut her up.
We're trying to think of the well-being of the school and the community, not just one girl.
Well, if you're
She can talk to friends. That's a biased opinion, also. That's an opinion. That's not a fact. We're trying to think of the well-being of the school. That's what the principal did. He's trying to think of the other children in the school. He's not trying to exploit the problems here. They're trying to get rid of the problems.
Neither of the parents had a chance to respond to their daughter's remarks and accusations of neglect.
If you said that they can't respond, if there was not are you saying that there was not another newspaper to be printed after this newspaper? That they couldn't state the parents could not state their opinion?
That would form biased opinions.
It would cause
Preformed opinions.
That would just exploit
If it did cause such an uproar, they could, if they wanted to, form another small newspaper or notice where people
what you all aren't understanding is that this is a school-funded newspaper.
Well, what are
the school has priority over the newspaper.
And what are
What is the exact policy?
A newspaper of high school usually
the exact
things about.
What is the policy? Towards the newspaper publishing.
You have the policy in the brief. It's simple. All public schools are that came from a national booklet. Those are guidelines from a national booklet that Falmouth Middle School used and public schools throughout the country have used. This one is the one from Falmouth.
Are you saying that they're all the same?
What? They're all based on the same statements.
The skills that we're taught, we're supposed to be legal, moral, and ethical restrictions and responsible journalism. I would not call this responsible journalism.
How can you give them the right to practice journalism and then take it away by not letting them print stories?
We're not taking them away.
Taking them away, the principal.
There's a limitation to all freedom of speech. There's a limitation to all amendments. All amendments.
Could you please summarize?
Yes, well, let me just make this one point. If I went to a teacher, or if any of you just went up to a teacher that you disliked, and you swore at him, so this is freedom of speech, because this is true, because you really don't like him. And this is a public school, and you went and swore at him, because he's caught saying all these disgusting things to him. He couldn't do anything to you, right? Because that's freedom of speech. That's the exact same problem here. That's not right. There's a limitation. There's a limitation to all amendments, including freedom of speech. Involving this case, you have a newspaper funded by the.
So in conclusion, First Amendment rights were not taken away.
Respondent, you may proceed.
Missouri, the principal violated students' First Amendment rights. A journalism class is writing a newspaper public spectrum as part of their curriculum. School officials, without prior notice, went back on its own promise and deleted 2 articles. The first article deleted was one on teenage pregnancy, and the second was was on the impact of divorce on teenagers. In these articles, the names were changed so that they could hide the identity of the teenagers, and the school officials used the argument that they were inappropriate for the younger students, but let's remember that these kids are in high school, and that they need to protect the privacy of the kids, although the students gave information. Hazel versus Comeyer was a case dealing primarily with the First Amendment. There cannot be an exception in the Hazelwood school. If all the incidents that didn't agree exactly with one school's philosophy were to be called unconstitutional within the First Amendment, school officials could question and censor each and every organization in the school. The principal of the school specifically stated that any article printed was acceptable unless it is disrupted the classroom, and they could have possibly resulted in toward liability toward the school.
Could you explain tort liability?
Resulting in destruction to school or somehow disrupting classrooms.
We're saying it's not going to. It wouldn't. One of the articles dealing with pregnancy did contain sections on sexual references, but did not enter into graphic details of any sort.
In reference to your statement dealing with tort liability, why couldn't the boyfriend and parents sue for tort liability?
Why should it wasn't invading their privacy in any way because it was changed names, and they really had no argument. The principal was concerned that the article did not offer enough protection for the 3 pregnant students as well as their boyfriends and parents. He also thought that the references to sexual activity were not suitable for younger students. Those 3 students willingly offered the information between the woman and the students from the journalism 2 class. A reasonable article was produced.
Were the girls aware of what could happen if, like, were they aware of how their families would feel or their boyfriends? Do you think they considered that when they put out with them?
Yes, I do. If the boyfriends and the parents also believed their privacy was invaded, any other newspaper would allow them to produce an article of their own comments in the class, would write it up for them and send it to publishing for the next newspaper.
I thought that there wasn't going to be another.
There wasn't, but they could have, if they really needed it.
If there was too much destruction, something could have been done for the parents' benefit. They could have written something, sent it to the school, and sent it out.
Like a newsletter or just a follow-up edition saying that they needed.
Do you feel that the newspaper articles could have been postponed and that another opinion from the parents could be written in the newspaper?
Yes, but the
Yeah.
principal didn't offer that.
That was
He didn't
not.
offer that.
The second article duty was on individual students at Hazelwood School. One particular section of it contained some comments from students whose names were, whose actual name was printed in the article, whose parents had been divorced, that were critically pointing right at her father. The principal thought it necessary to give the parents an opportunity to respond to these accusations. Although, as stated previously, in the next issue of the news, or in a follow-up to the newspaper, the parents could comment in the article.
With the girl situation, the girl whose parents were divorced was a